Before we start, this video is not political. This video is not about how the strike is a good thing because the woke writers have ruined Hollywood, or that the strike is a good thing because capitalism is bad. This video is purely from the perspective of the strike being a good thing from an entertainment point of view. With that out of the way, the main reason why I think the writer's strike is going to be a good thing is because the WGA doesn't take a strike lightly. We all know that businesses are about their money. They are going to fight tooth and nail to keep the numbers they've already crunched 1,000 times to stay the same. So if the WGA thinks the issues are this egregious enough to start a strike, it's probably true. And the main reason why I'm not worried is because I don't think the last strike that happened in 2007 was as devastating as people make it seem. Or I should say, the strike worked, and it did destroy television for the time they were on strike, but once Hollywood settled with the writers, I think Hollywood bounced right back. The perception that a writer's strike has these long-lasting effects just don't seem to be true. Many properties that are insanely popular today or critically beloved, a lot of them started almost directly after 2007. So a writer's strike isn't guaranteed to destroy our ability to create great content. And that's all because of two simple truths. One, if you're working hard enough to be recognized as a great TV film writer, you've probably already joined the WGA. So yes, the best writers in Hollywood are more likely to be in the WGA, and that means that longer strikes are not good for anyone. And two, nobody wants to make a product that sucks and gets no viewers. But when the boss is making the work environment suck too, where's the incentive to work harder? People aren't like SpongeBob, motivated just by the idea of being on the Employee of the Month wall. Don't get me wrong though, I'm not saying this is a good thing simply because the writers deserve it. I think this is a good thing for the executives as well. Yeah, it might not be great for their bonuses this year, but having a huge pause button put on your industry will allow you some time to put into perspective and refocus and restructure, because big business often has a lot of redundancy. And I bet they won't have as much once this strike is over. And the writers are no different. There's only so many great writers in Hollywood. Most writers are going to end up being average. Some are going to be a little bit better than others, but some are also going to be a little bit worse. And when you strike, you're putting a giant microscope on your industry, and you're saying we deserve better because we do great work. Do you though? I mean, individually, not every writer is doing great work, right? And now, if this strike is successful, the expectations will become much stricter, because why would a studio pay more money for less quality? I also see a lot of people describing the writer's strike as pointless, whether it's because they've gone too woke or because you think they're not allowing enough diverse voices to be heard. Whatever it is, pick your poison. And this oftentimes leads to people saying, well, the writer's strike is just fighting for the people who are already in the club. This doesn't help anyone else. My answer to that is that I don't believe that's true. If you were someone who is trying to get into this industry and you can't even get acknowledged, most of the time it's because you just aren't as good as you think you are. Even people already in the industry don't do well enough to guarantee consistent work. I think if your work is that good and you just can't seem to get your foot in the door, this writer's strike is going to make it so that you're more likely to get your foot in the door now. Because if I was an executive, if I was a producer, and I now have to spend more money to get the projects that I want done, I'm going to be more willing to take a gamble on an up-and-comer who doesn't have well-known mediocrity attached to their name, and hope that the person that I choose ends up being someone who actually is a great writer. For those that don't understand how an up-and-comer can get fast-tracked by a executive taking a gamble, what a lot of people might not know is that the WGA requirements to join the WGA requires 24 units of credit within 3 years before you apply. But what most people don't know is that if your screenplay is purchased by a studio, you instantly get 24 credits and can apply to the WGA. So whether this strike goes on for months or if it only lasts 2 weeks, in my opinion, it doesn't matter, because I think it moves us forward more than it holds anything back.